Call the Broken Arrow City Council meeting to order. Right after I sign in, sorry. We have invocation.
All right, let's pray together. In the spirit of unity and responsibility, we turn our hearts to you for guidance and wisdom. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve the community of Broken Arrow and acknowledge the diverse roles that contribute to its well-being. In pursuit of justice and compassion, we reflect on the words of Micah 6:8, which calls us to act justly, love mercy, walk humbly before you. As we deliberate and we make decisions today, we also want to ask a special blessing on our police and first responders who courageously protect and serve our community. May they be guided by wisdom and compassion and the commitment to justice as well. We also recognize and appreciate the dedication of our city council, our city departments, and all the other people that work in the city for all of their efforts that they put forth to enhance the quality of life for all of our residents. And Father, we just pray for this meeting, that as leadership and staff ask for wisdom and discernment and discuss complex issues, that everything would be done to glorify you and to continue to make Broken Arrow a wonderful place to live. Father, be with us and guide this discussion today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. All right, roll call.
Green.
Here.
Ford.
Here.
Parks. Here. Gillespie. Wimpy.
Here. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. All right. Item 7 is public hearings, presentations, recognitions, and awards. 7A, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of and authorization to execute a proclamation declaring February 22nd, 2024 as Supermarket Employee Day. Lori Hill? Just kidding. I was going to read that. So Lori would have come up here to say, the city of Broken Arrow has thousands of food retail and supply chain jobs related to supermarket industry that generate millions of dollars in economic activity that benefit the city of Broken Arrow. That proclamation that I'm going to read now for Supermarket Employee Day will be presented to Anthony Grant, who is our Reese's Regional VP, Evelyn Dwayne, also the District VP, and Scott Rothall. Did I say that right? It's real close, right? Okay. From Brookshire, Development Group VP. So, at City of Broken Arrow, whereas there are nearly 6 million supermarket employees in the United States, and whereas in Broken Arrow there are thousands of food retail jobs and supply chain related jobs that generate millions of dollars in economic activity, and whereas supermarket employees provide their communities with access to safe, healthy, and affordable food, and whereas supermarket employees work to enhance the health and well-being of each customer, and whereas supermarket employees contribute and volunteer countless hours in their communities, and whereas supermarket employees have and continue to meet and exceed supply chain challenges as well as extreme weather challenges while displaying courage, compassion, dedication, and leadership, as well as exemplifying customer service and community outreach. And whereas the need for supermarket employees is greater than ever because of current and growing consumer demands, as well as their reputation for excellence. And now, therefore, I, Deborah Wimpy, Mayor of the City of Broken Arrow, do hereby proclaim February 22nd, 2024 as Supermarket Employee Day in the City of Broken Arrow and urge everyone to celebrate this wonderful day. in witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Broken Arrow to be affixed. So, do you guys want to come up? I can present this to you all. So if I'm not mistaken, grocery stores, supermarkets generate around $11 million in sales tax a year for our city. So you guys make a great impact on our city, and we thank you guys, and we're honored to give you this proclamation.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You get a picture, Mayor? Earlier. I was also going to say too, and I talked to them about it, when I did Night Out Against Crime downtown, Resource had always donated, we started off with 1,000 hot dogs that they donated for that event, and about 6 years in, they started donating 2,000 hot dogs. So I told them, thank you for being such a great community partner for the police department and for the city, and how much they're appreciated.
Absolutely. We're excited for your second location. Anytime now.
I'm really excited.
All right.
I'd make a motion that we approve and authorize the execution of proclamation declaring February 22nd, 2024 as Supermarket Employee Day.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. All right. Item 8 is citizens' opportunity to address the council. There is none. General council business is next. 9A, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a list of the City of Broken Arrow's priorities to present to Oklahoma members of Congress at National League of Cities Advocacy Day on Capitol Hill on March 13th, 2024 in Washington, D.C. Lori Hill.
Hello. Good evening, Council and Mr. Spurgeon. I do not want to embarrass him too much, but I do want to recognize that the mayor of the U City Council, Mark Lawson, is in the audience.
Oh, okay.
So we are
Hello,
getting
Mayor.
ready to take some of the seniors, all of the seniors for U
Yeah.
City Council to NLC and DC in just a couple of weeks. So this evening, we're going to just briefly go through the 2023 legislative agenda. We do have a few updates that we're going to be making, but wanted to give you the opportunity if there's anything you want us to add, change, or delete. We can work through that, and we can also discuss that offline if we need to. First and foremost, the first part is the infrastructure. We need to find out if this is an area that we need to change, update, or omit. So if there's anything in this area that you feel like we need to do any updating, we can walk through that. So the support of the broadband initiatives. We're curious if this is still happening or if this has already been taken care of. Because down at the bottom it says City of Broken Arrow is moving forward with a broadband initiative to provide the opportunity for low-cost internet service utilizing the federal funding provided by the ARPA funds. And I believe that is already being taken place, but again, we can discuss that. Under public safety, I spoke with the police chief, and we're going to keep these public safety issues as well as he's provided me some additional ones. So once we add these in and make the edits, I'll be sending you all the final documents so you can review it before we go to print. And then under the next page at the bottom, the opposition to government regulatory overreach, we're going to remove anything COVID related because we're past COVID and we're in a new chapter. The next area under local and domestic energy, we're going to update that first sentence to be fiscal 2023. And I need to check into this 3 C's initiative to see if that's something that we're still doing. And then under supply chain bottlenecks, unemployment is low and stable according to the Department of Labor, so we'll update that section. And then the historic levels of inflation, we'll need to update that percentage. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have, or if there's any priorities on here that you'd like for us to add, now's the time. So
I appreciate all the work you do on this. This document's really important when we meet with our congressmen, and we're able to verbalize what we want, but also leaving them something in their hands has been very helpful.
good. The credit goes to Aubrey Seiss in the communications department. She does a great job.
Thank you,
So,
Aubrey.
Wonderful.
Maybe you're watching.
Well, on some of these, maybe I can talk. I'm going to be in DC on Wednesday and Thursday.
Which would be great,
So maybe
and that will be a
I'll
good
mention a few
opportunity
of
for us to do some updating. And again, feel free to, if you want to review this, and we can discuss it later, and we have time to go to print, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Awesome. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 9B, consideration, discussion, and possible, do we need to vote on anything? I thought it was just a
Yes.
preview.
I'll make a motion for approval of the list of cities' Broken Arrow priorities to present to Oklahoma members of Congress and National League of Cities advocacy on Capitol Hill Day.
Second.
I'll second.
Oh, I was in here.
You can second.
Roll call.
You said it, you gotta do one second.
Mayor, if I can, there's some updating that needs to be in the actual paragraphs, and so I'll take care of that.
Because
and
this
then
was
get you-
last year's, yep, agenda, so.
Will that come back to us, or?
All right, we're good, thank you. Item 9B, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of an authorization to execute a professional consultant agreement with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for the future bond program planning project and approve budget amendment number 20. Charlie Bright.
Good evening, Mayor, no Vice Mayor, and Mr. Spurgeon, council members. Excited to be presenting this one to you guys tonight. Obviously, this is going to be a lot of great things for our community in the future. So we're here to talk about the next bond. Back in August of 2018, the citizens of Broken Arrow obviously voted for the 2018 GO bond. At the time, that was expected to be a 10-year general obligations bond. Due to the net assessed value of our community increasing at a higher rate than we expected at that time, we now project that we will sell out of that bond in 2026. And so with that in mind, the city manager has asked us to look at starting preparations for a new bond vote in the spring of 2026. One thing I really appreciate from the city manager is the vision of starting that process early now and doing the best that we can to get ahead of it, get proper planning, proper funding, and get a great list of projects. So the contract before you tonight is we went through a proposal process with several consultants. We had a lot of great consultants put in to help us with this process, but we had a selection committee. We interviewed 3 consultants and had a unanimous decision to work with Jacobs Engineering Group. We negotiated our contract with Jacobs and came to a number of $449,317. This was kind of an odd contract to negotiate because there's so many unknowns. We're planning for what we don't even know today. And so the way we negotiated the contract is we estimated how many projects we thought there was going to be, and then we agreed that they were going to bill it hourly based off the work actually done, because we aren't sure just exactly how much work is going to be done at this point. So Jacobs is here in the crowd if you'd like to speak with them, but I'm also happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Exactly what would that be? Would that be the engineering on all the projects? Is
So-
that correct, or just designing the bond issuance?
The scope that we outlined with Jacobs is we are going to start with one very large list of projects that have been suggested by the public, the directors, our community partners. Every list we've heard of a project, we're starting with it on the list. We are going to do a very, very high level programming cost estimating of that list. I assume the list is going to be $750 million to $1 billion. It's going to be the wish
Is that
list.
conservative?
It's going to be the wish list. And so from there, we will meet with Mr. Spurgeon, his team, and I assume with you guys, and go over those things and probably quickly cut out a significant portion of that and just say, okay, well, this, we'll have a number associated with it and be like, okay, that's not the number we want. That's not the number we want. And we'll get that list narrowed down. My assumption is we'll get it narrowed down to somewhere between 400 and 500 million. And then from there, we will go in more in depth and we'll program each project a little bit further. We won't go all the way into design, but we'll program it to say, okay, well, we think the building needs to be this big. We think the road needs to be this wide. We think, we need traffic signals here, here, here. And then we'll update those cost estimates to get much more specific. And from there, we'll go to Mr. Spurgeon and the governing body. And then we make the tough decisions of which ones actually make the list.
Okay. And they're with you all the way through that?
They will be with us until we take it to a vote in 2026.
Okay.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, again, echo what you said. I appreciate Mr. Spurgeon and his forward thinking on this project. We have an incredible city manager, an incredible city staff that works really hard, but sometimes when you look at something this big, we need additional eyes and people to come in and work alongside of us to accomplish what we want to accomplish, what's going to be best for our citizens, for our city. So thank you guys for doing the work and doing the legwork and picking out a company that you feel is going to be good to service this city.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Pick out a couple with Jacobs, I mean, why did we select Jacobs?
Jacobs, I mean, the biggest reason, and I could say a few reasons, but one of the reasons is they're a very large company and the scope of this bond is going to be significant. You know, it's going to be heavy in transportation, we know that, but it's also going to be very heavy in quality of life, probably some public facilities, a lot of public safety, and the size of their project, their company, and they could probably come down and speak on it if they wanted to, but they have a lot of employees and they touch on a lot of different areas. And so we are getting very good professionals that know public facilities, they know buildings, they know parks, they know all these aspects, and we get it with one company. Some of the other teams that we looked at, it was basically going to be a group of firms, which each one specializing. But here we get one project manager that's managing everybody within their company, and we get one good list of team that's looking at the list instead of pulling it together from 3 or 4 different sources. Beyond that, I feel like the main leads that they're giving us on the project, I mean, they were the best leads we were going to get out of any of the teams. So I feel really good about the team they're giving us.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, sir. Do you have a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve the request.
A second?
Roll call. All right,
Thank
approved.
you.
Thank you, Charlie. Item 9C, consideration, discussion, and possible appointment of 2 city council members to serve on the Re-engaged New Orleans Square Advisory Committee. Grant Rissler.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors and Mr. Spurgeon. As you know, on the 2nd of February, you all voted to re-engage this committee to look at the New Orleans Square Overlay District. And tonight, staff is requesting 2 of you to nominate and select to serve on this committee. So that's what we're here for.
I think the vice mayor is adamant that she serves
I
on that
was
committee.
going to make that motion for Vice Mayor Gillespie and also Councilor Green with New Orleans Square. That would be my motion, since both the New Orleans Square is in both of your wards. I feel like that's probably
Yeah,
a
that's
good
perfect.
choice. And yes, if Vice Mayor Gillespie did not get on that, we would all be getting phone calls quickly.
It's a good time to not vote her out.
And she's traveling and watching, so.
Go ahead, Johnny, you can do that, but I'm not going to do that.
Again, I said that.
Yeah.
Just an FYI, we're really close to having all the members selected. So moving forward, the next council meeting, I should be able to provide you an update of all those members that'll be on that committee.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Looks like we have a motion and a second. And we will have Vice Mayor and Councilor Green.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I can add, I spoke to the superintendent, and Chase Elkins will serve as a school district representative. He was on the committee before as a citizen, so he'll actually be on the school district. And I've got 2 appointments, and Ben Bowie has agreed to serve, and maybe Chase Elkins, depending on, I got to see where that position fell, but the school district will have someone on there again for us, which I'm
Okay.
excited about.
Perfect. All right, there are no preview ordinances. Item 11 is our ordinances. 11A, consideration, discussion, and possible adoption of ordinance number 3823. Grant Rissler, should have just stayed up here, buddy.
As we spoke at the last council meeting, we are still working on cleaning up for our zoning case map. This is an old item from way back in 2004. It was approved subject to plating. It's now moving forward with that process. We're trying to get our case map updated. Again, you'll be seeing these moving forward over the course of the next few meetings. So.
Okay. Any discussion?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 3823.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Item B is the emergency clause.
Make a motion to accept the emergency clause?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. All right. Item C is consideration, discussion, and possible adoption of ordinance number 3824, an ordinance amending the Broken Arrow Code of Ordinances, Chapter 16, offenses, miscellaneous Article 1, and general noise ordinance is what this is. Trevor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Mr. Spurgeon. At the last meeting, we had previewed an ordinance that would update our noise ordinance. As you may recall, we have separate designated areas that have exceptions to our noise ordinance right now. These include New Orleans Square and also the Rose District. Those are till 2 a.m. The item that we have before you that was previewed exempted noises at the events park and the amphitheater until midnight. Subsequent review of the needs and the operation revealed that we really only need to extend it till 11 p.m. It currently is 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. This simply matches the entire week for that 11 p.m. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
That was a good improvement.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance number 3824. Oh, well, I guess Counselor Green did
Go
that.
right ahead.
Just kidding.
One of you.
Somebody, there you go. And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call. Item 11D is the emergency clause.
Make a motion to approve the emergency clause
I'll second that motion.
in a minute.
Roll call. All right, item 12 is remarks by governing, that went really fast, by the way.
That did go really
Governing body members. I had the opportunity to go to Atlanta yesterday for the day to visit the headquarters of Chick-fil-A, and it was kind of neat just to hear the culture and their thought behind there. And none of it focuses on chicken. It all has to do with just treating people the right way, and it all stems from just being kind. And so that was pretty amazing. They would like to put a store within 10 minutes of every single resident. So could you imagine? Yeah. That's their goal. So that was pretty exciting. And then I will be visiting I got an invitation to go to the White House on Thursday, which is kind of exciting. So I fly out tomorrow and we'll get a chance to sit and chat.
Did you drive to Atlanta? How did you get to Atlanta?
No, we flew.
How'd you get back?
I flew. Yes, I did that.
Well, going to the White House is very exciting. Is this the
Yes.
first time that you've been invited as mayor?
As mayor, yes. I've gone just as the tour where you walk through and it's like, here's the yellow room, here's the red room. This will be quite different.
That's
so I'm
awesome.
pretty excited. So,
Good.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate the fact that 1BA is coming up on Saturday, May 11th. Excited about this project that our police department is doing, community service out in our community. I got the opportunity to go out with some of their team this last week and look at some potential projects and kind of get out there and get our hands in and see what some of the things we could do to make our city better. So
Does it look like it's going to be multiple projects or one big project
there will
somewhere?
be multiple projects all across the city. So
Okay.
it's going to be a really
Very
neat
cool.
opportunity to enhance our community and for people to get involved and volunteer with the community and give back. So
I love that.
Do you remember when the deadline is, just right off, like to apply for?
the
I just thought we
deadline
would
for
give that
1BA.
plug. Okay, check Broken Arrow Facebook page. All the information's there. I was just wondering. I
She
thought
was
it probably-
testing me.
No, I just thought it was coming up. I just want to let people know it's not too late. It's still open.
Registration closes at 5 p.m. on March 15th.
Plenty of time.
If you have a
All right.
project you want, 5:15,
Yes. All right.
March 15th.
Anyone else? Yep, city manager?
Yes, Mayor, just a few things. First off, to the folks at Brookshires and Research, thank you for being here this evening. It's exciting to see the building construction going on. Drive by there about once a week or so, and it's looking awesome. So thank you very much. A few things, Mayor. First is just an update on the citizen survey. We're at about 3,000 responses, just a little over 2 weeks, and it closes at the end of the month, and we'll be close to the 3,500 that we were hoping to be able to receive. So I'm excited about the response that we've gotten from the community with regard to the survey. And then secondly, as you may remember, and there was a notice about this, is that we were having some problems with our driver's testing center. And it was brought to my attention, and I had State Senator and State Representative, State Senator Haste and Representative Ross Ford reached out and talked to me about it. We had a lot of discussions, and as a result of the concerns that we expressed and the concerns that they had received, they actually expanded their services, and they have put a driver's testing center in New Orleans Square. So not only did they hear predominantly from what the elected officials at the state level had to say about the concerns they were getting from probably mostly constituents, they actually went in and made that change and added additional business to New Orleans Square. I know several of you have been over there, but I just wanted to publicly acknowledge the folks from the Service Oklahoma Special April April Gonzalez, I believe is her name, who's been very, very helpful in keeping me posted on what was happening. So, I mean, you had a chance to walk through, didn't you?
Yeah, it's really nice. Counselor Green and I both were able to tour it and got our picture taken. They have a wall that's like, you can show your driver's license. It's really pretty cool. It's very nice. And it's just testing. So,
Show your driver's license.
like when you get your driver's license, it's
You
like,
don't show your driver's license.
no, well, no, we put our finger
Okay.
over all of our,
Pertinent
girl, what do you
information.
think? Of course we did.
You
Of
also
course-
touched base on that, the app. They have a new app, right, for?
They do.
So you don't have to wait in line.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, they have really modernized because they were running some challenges, and I think that they're trying to meet those expectations of our citizens, primarily that go there. And so I'm just very happy and I want to recognize the efforts of our state officials, because obviously it's state level operation, and so they actually were very listening and very supportive, and I think that we're on our way to fixing that problem.
And that's helped the lines in the other facilities
Yes.
here in Broken Arrow also.
Right, because
quite a bit.
people would get in line like at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yes,
Just
it's
to-
just horrible.
Very helpful to
Yeah.
all of them.
Big deal. I want to mention a project that I want to let the council know about in the public. It's 209th or 37th from Albany 61st to Kenosha 71st. Obviously, it's in much need of repair, and Mr. Schwab has informed me that the work on the force main for the sewer actually is going to be put out to bid. It's out to bid this week, and that council is going to tentatively award that contract on March 19th. And more importantly, once that work is done, we'll be out to bid between April 9th and April 16th for the actual road widening and the road construction project. And he's looking at a tentative award for that road, that mile that definitely needs to be done, to be potentially awarded by the council on May 7th. So I was speaking to Councilor Green before the meeting about this, because he'd gotten a couple phone calls, and we do read about it a lot. But we're going to proceed with that, and I'm excited. We keep talking about it, and it's very close. We can award it, obviously, then go through the construction. So, and the last thing really is an announcement. I saved this, is that I received word recently from Dr. Hanley's office at NSU that NSU has selected the City of Broken Arrow as their partner for the Regents Business Partnership Excellence Award. So on March 7th in the afternoon, there is a reception and recognition that council members and I are going to be going to receive that award that Dr. Hanley has chosen us for as a part of their partner. So
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
that's all I have.
All right, thank you. We do have an executive session. Entertain a motion to take a recess and to go into BMI.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Green,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Gillespie, Wimpy.
Yes. I call the Broken Arrow Municipal Authority meeting to order. Roll call.
Green,
Here.
Ford,
Here?
Parks,
Here.
Gillespie, Wimpy.
Here. Are there any items on the consent agenda to be removed?
Make a motion, we approve consent agenda?
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second. Roll call. Item 5 is public hearings, appeals, presentation, recognitions, and awards. There are none. In general authority business, item 6A, consideration, discussion, and possible award of the lowest responsible bid to Horseshoe Construction, Inc., and approve and authorize execution of a construction contract for the Camino Villa Park sanitary sewer rehabilitation. Tim Robbins, sorry.
Good evening, Chair, Trustees, Mr. Spurgeon. Tim Robbins, Construction Division Manager, City of Broken Arrow. Before you is a possible award to the lowest responsible bidder, Horseshoe Construction, for the Camino Park sanitary sewer rehab project. So this project's located at Camino Villa. It is off of Kenosha Street in between County Line and 37th or 209th. And that subdivision is a rather old subdivision. It used to be as platted in 1956, as noted as Arrow Village Mobile City. That was a new one to me. I didn't know that. So that entire system throughout it is at basically at its end of life. It's gone. There's a lot of products in there that have decomposed over the years. We have a lot of issues, and that's what this project's intended to do: is a complete overhaul of the entire sanitary sewer system. So that includes over 16,000 linear feet of sanitary sewer replacement, roughly 415 manholes, and 415 service connections, and over 57 manholes throughout that entire subdivision. So this project was bid out in early January, and then we received bids on this. There was 4 bids received, with the lowest bid being from Horseshoe Construction of $3,562,760. The engineer's estimate, it's very, very important to note kind of that differential. The engineer's estimate was $5,170,000. So our engineering construction team reviewed the bids at hand. We do have previous experience with Horseshoe Construction. This will be the first time working with them as a main contract, but we have recently worked with them as a subcontractor on our slip line project on the Hakey Creek trunk line. So we have some good experience with them. We've called their references and checked with them on their bids, and we've received emails from them confirming their bid and that they're very excited to work with the city. With those evaluations, city staff recommends award of the contract to Horseshoe Construction for the amount of $3,562,760. Can answer any questions if you have them.
Well, that'd be quite a few streets have to be torn up to accomplish that in your design, or?
So the beauty of this project, it's designed as a trenchless construction. So throughout, they will start at likely 1 or 2 of the manholes, and they will have an entry pit. And then they'll take a rig that will basically kind of implode the pipe. It has a header that goes inside the pipe, and it expands, and it breaks the pipe in place. And then it'll advance, and as it advances, it'll pull in a polyfused HDPE pipe. So it's a plastic pipe that will fuse up on the ground, and it'll just pull that line in. So it will limit the amount of impacts to driveways and residences, and we'll have some bypassing, but we'll be able to keep away from a lot of massive excavations throughout the entire subdivision. So it's great.
I think you should at least contact one councilman and let him watch you do part of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll
He's
do
not referring to this one.
Absolutely. It's exciting. We've only had to do this in a couple situations. One most recently on 51st Street to save from having to tear out a large monument. So there's a lot of good applications here for this product.
Then you'll go back and tie the tap back into that new sewer, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So they will bypass around a section, and then as they advance, they'll get that in between manholes, and then we'll notify those residents, say, hey, your service is going to be impacted while they put this in. It's actually a very quick process to get manhole to manhole. Then they'll tap those, they'll have those exposed, they'll tap them, and then release flows. So hopefully the impact to each individual residence is, there will be an impact, but it'll be just for that little bit of time during the day.
It's good.
We'll do some preliminary meetings with the public and start some public outreach with our teams rather quickly.
Okay.
I kind of feel like I've seen this happen, like when I did my ride-along, but maybe it wasn't, because I don't remember about the braking, but I remember about the pulling through. You definitely need to go watch.
Yeah, that was the slip line project. That was the
Yes.
Horseshoe
I've
Construction.
seen the
Yeah.
videos up before, but not firsthand. Because we do have a lot of projects that would be good for.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Any remarks by governing body members?
Actually, if I could have a point of personal privilege here.
You may.
I missed this in our last meeting, but we have a guest in the audience we don't normally get to have here very often. I see Dr. Kathleen Spurgeon in the back of the room, so welcome to the city council meeting. That would be Mr. Spurgeon's lovely wife, so welcome.
Councilman
One of our
Green's getting
favorite
some
doctors,
points.
yes.
Thank you.
Does that mean he's in trouble?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, first, pointing out special guests, I see our president of the chamber's children are with us tonight, too. Well, and her husband, you know. Right?
Him too.
All right. City manager?
Just one note I want to make about the Citizens Committee for the City Hall project. Probably in the next week or so, I'll get a letter out, in case anybody asks if you're appointees, I'll get a letter out welcoming them and give them just some parameters about the process, and then start looking for a date for that first meeting. So if anybody reaches out to you to let them know, and hopefully they can get their first meeting in before the end of March, if not, probably sometime in early April. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. All right, we have no executive session.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
Goodness. Okay, sorry. Gotcha.
Call the Broken Arrow Economic Development Authority to order. Are there any items on the consent agenda to be removed?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as it stands.
Second?
With a motion and a second. Roll call.
I clicked too quickly.
Yep, very good.
Should be 4-0. Can I go back? Okay.
We good? Okay. All right, there are no public hearings, presentations, recognitions, or awards. Item 6 is general authority business. 6A, presentation, discussion, and possible acceptance of the 2023 Broken Arrow Economic Development Corporation Annual Report. Jennifer Conway. So many words.
There's no motion on
Evening.
this, right?
Yes, it's almost 5 years coming up this year of being able to have the privilege to serve as the Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Corporation, Chamber of Commerce CEO and the Economic Development Corporation CEO. So my family is here and you guys are gifting them with what I think is the shortest council meeting
You're welcome.
that we've had indefinitely for me presenting this. So thank you for having me here, Mayor, Vice Mayor. We miss her, but we know she's here in spirit. Council and our City Manager, Michael Spurgeon. I do want to also recognize we did recognize my family, the people who make the greatest sacrifice for me daily, that I do what I do, which is many hours away from them, missing games and coming home probably a little more exhausted and tired out than an average person. But so I just want to recognize and thank. I never get to thank my family publicly for the sacrifice you make for what we do. And also tonight, Davis Robson is on his way, but I think our quick moving along may cause him to come in a little bit late. So he was going to come in. Then we have Eric Bonney here, who is with Security Bank, who is the vice chair of the Chamber of Commerce, which also he sits on the EDC board of directors. So all of the EDC board wishes they could be here. Greg Graham, who is our chair, is traveling this evening, but he does thank you for your support and for trust in his leadership. And last but not least, my work family, I do want to recognize. We have our Vice President, Nick Duffel, there, and we have our Workforce Development Director, DeAndre, and then our Marketing and Research Manager, and Megan. So they are an incredible team. We'd love to have them. They do all the work you see on a daily basis, and I get to tell you about it. So you did receive a detailed 35-page report. I'm not going to do that to you and go through all of that. I know it's provided to those in the public as well, attached. So this is a really high-level summary. If you would like to stop me and ask more detailed questions, I and the team are here to be able to answer additional questions as we move forward. So here, I think if we can, we have just here, we wanted to give a highlight of just what the top industry growth for Broken Arrow. So we have two ways that we evaluate this. This is from our software, Lightcast. And so it provides a snapshot that is utilizing a lot of different sources to give us the most detailed, because there's no way we can knock on every door and find that growth. We did do our own surveys, but these key areas of growth, healthcare, food services, construction, manufacturing, and retail trade. And you'll see what their job growth from 2022 to 2023. Interesting. Manufacturing looks low. We always talk about we have 300 manufacturers, but really in the grand scheme of things, right, retail share of human beings who are working are always greater. Manufacturing, actually for us, our growth was 1.5% in Broken Arrow, and the U.S. manufacturing growth in 2023 was only 0.17. So our manufacturing growth is above the national average. We did do a spot survey with some of our major employers.
they reported 140 new jobs, but that by no means was a full. We didn't knock on every door and ask those questions, so we didn't really report that fully, but wanted to give that we did get that data from our some of our major businesses. Broken Arrow's top industry growth from 2018 to 2023, you see obviously is food services, retail trade, construction, transportation and warehouse, and in healthcare. Diving a little bit more, what's really important to us in Broken Arrow is manufacturing by NAICS code. So this is where it gets a little tricky, but you see our top manufacturing, as we all know, is in the of heat exchangers, right? That's Alfa Laval, that's AG Equipment, and a lot of others in that field. That's one of our top gross. Oil and gas, field machinery and equipment, ice cream manufacturing, I think we all know who that one is. Major household appliance manufacturing and commercial and service industry manufacturing. So as you see, we talk about aerospace all the time, and that's not listed on there. And that was actually a big discussion our team had. The way that our aerospace companies do it, they are actually reporting on several NAICS codes. So you may have a simulator, or you may have some software, or you may have some engineering services. So a lot of their sales are not reported under one specific NAICS code, so not being able to provide a more detailed report for you, but they would be in the significant millions of dollars in that. Interesting for us in manufacturing growth year over year and our gross regional product, manufacturing is up 68% over last year's. Healthcare actually decreased by 14.4%, and that's much because of the COVID money began to stop to flow into healthcare. So going in, kind of diving, so that's an overall kind of snapshot of the health of some of our major employers and our key industries, primary job creators. From our work, what we do in our key, we really outlined this and according to the contract and the key pieces of the contract, and just kind of highlighted some of our work in each of that. And our report is defined that way as well. So we had 81 requests of research, property search, 55% property search, 55% research, 22 property, 1.6 new business starts. You know, that is, and we've kind of worked in the midst of an entrepreneurship ecosystem assessment. It was interesting as the entrepreneur our consultant called us and said, "You don't really have much of an ecosystem." And we said, "We know, that's what we're walking through." And she said, "All the services are in Tulsa." I said, "We're aware." And so those are the pieces that we're working together on what that next steps look like. But this kind of shows as that's our specific questions to assist with new business starts. I talked to you a little bit. We did purchase a new software as we're moving over. We InPlan, which gives us a more comprehensive economic impact analysis to you, each of you, when we do provide those, when it comes down to incentives and determining how much is a company bringing in, both from capital investment and new job growth, both in the actual creation of jobs, and then what is that byproduct of additional jobs created through that system. A couple of key things in advocacy area, which we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes on this one, but some of it, obviously one of the ones that we, in a shoes bill last year was we were heavy advocates on that down in the Capitol for several days, knocking on doors and trying to convince. We did keep 4 votes with us, but that's still a long road to continue. And so that's the education, the reference to that. We did some other key economic development advocacy items, both and we kind of talked to you about public infrastructure districts. That's something else that will be coming up again this year. Continuing to look for ways that we can help fund infrastructure for major projects that doesn't just come down to a TIF or comes down to the small toolbox that we have as a community. And so talking about where our business retention and expansion, this is a lot of our work, and this is, as you've heard me say almost every time, 84% of job growth comes from existing employers and new job growth, and specifically in the primary job creation sector. So in 2023, we saw 121 CapEx by major employers, $78 million by Bluebell, $1 million by Molded Products, $13 million by Alfa Laval, $1.4 million by Russell Electric, And then through our spot survey with our employers, there was another $27.6 million in capital investment disclosed in 2023 by our major employers. A little bit diving deep, you've seen the press releases on these, and the 30 new jobs from Alpha Laval, 15 new jobs for Bluebell, 10 new jobs by Molded Products, and 275 new jobs with an average, I'm on that one. But one thing I want to say on this, which is just interesting, you see, is we're seeing now a greater capital investment doesn't necessarily result in a ton of new jobs, and that's because of technology. And so when you're talking about more, moving more into technology, your job growth may be smaller, but your average wage is higher. So it's you know, with Bluebell, their 100,000 square foot expansion was primarily to build their storage capacity so that they could serve more clients from this actual location, which is exciting to see that. And then next up, Zico, they announced 275 new jobs with an average wage of $80,000. They are awarded an Oklahoma Quality Jobs incentive that just was done this past couple weeks as well. McElroy, 100 new jobs in purchasing that former Baker Hughes building of 173,000 square feet. Russell Electric, 15 new jobs, and they made a capital investment of 1.4. And kind of along in the business retention expansion, I didn't remember if I did say that we made 427 visits in 2023 to our businesses. But as a part of it, we promote what's the different programs that they can tap into, the Department of Commerce and other different avenues. And so we had Rise Manufacturing, RL Hudson, Total Value, Hill Manufacturing, Gabco Plastics, Cameron Glass, and Air Hygiene all be awarded in 2023 the Oklahoma Innovation Expansion Program Award, which was a total of $750,000 into our local businesses and what they had to do is create a specific expansion project and promote that, and then that helps them execute it through the state. Our BR&E projects that are open right now, so that's our existing businesses who are growing and we're assisting them through that process, is 34. The most active projects we have right now, Project Shock, $6 million with 100 new jobs. Project Inferno, $10 million with 200 new jobs coming. Project Lamp, $15 million with 29 new jobs. And Project Sub, 100 new jobs in the engineering field. We've seen a 55% increase in our expansion project growth from 2022 to what we had to 2023, and then a 14% increase in potential jobs from the numbers that we reported to you in 2022. We did recognize some key businesses and their performance in our areas of innovation: Access Optics, Restoration, Crunch Fitness was restoring that building. Transformation, Born Again Restored, Creation, Cohesive Networking, and Amplification, Alpha Laval. So we are excited to continue to tell the story about the businesses that are investing in our community. Business attraction work that we're doing, so that's attracting new businesses to our community. We have currently 15 projects open with a potential of jobs of 1,360 with a CapEx investment of $170 billion. So obviously, when you're attracting a new business, that's going to cost a lot more. So it's that cost of you building a new building. So $170 billion. We've had 6 site visits. In that number is one company visiting more than once. So that's a great sign when you are visited more than once as you continue that conversations. We've received new acreage to promote that we have not previously promoted because owners, you have to get that's what they want to do with their land. We've had some key, like Creek 51, it's one we heavily promote. The property off 81st, it's about 80 acres there, 2 landowners, that one's we heavily promote. The expansion of Houston is one that it needs to be done in order for that to be as attractive as it can be. But this 677 new acres is exciting to give us some additional things to promote, and I'll kind of talk about that in a minute. But 2023, you see, we received significant RFPs. Actually, it's a little less than we did in 2022. In our initial report, we had an error. We were adding all of the RFPs that we had open, not just the ones received in 1 year. So that's the corrected number from your first report, and then how many that we answered. I'll go into why we didn't be able to answer a lot of them in just a second. But one of our key one, I've said we have promoted heavily is Creek 51 Business Park. 6 of the lots have been sold or under contract. Drilling Equipment Resources broke ground this week. I think that was this week. Was that this week or last week? Days or it happened recently.
last week.
Was it last
I
week?
know, I was like,
it was last week. So it is Tuesday. It was last Tuesday. Sunbelt Rentals is expected to open very soon. That building, I don't know if y'all driven by there. It's built. It's almost done. One of the challenges that we've had is a great, awesome thing from this perspective of having an LOI. But there's an LOI with Skinnell Properties, and as we try to work with spec developers, the largest portion of available land, there's a letter of intent for the 35 acres for Creek 51 to construct the building. So that a little bit, since there's already an LOI, we do submit that, and we submit the plans, and we do present it, but that takes a chunk of it and kind of puts it, not taken, but I mean, we promote it. But it isn't just available acreage for anyone to work with, since Skinnell has that LOI. But it's an incredible partnership. We hope to really see that one come to fruition for both Rex and the city. Now, kind of diving a little bit more into the request for proposals and why we were excited about the 677 new acres is, and we received 72 RFPs, 22 we responded to. So broke down and went back, why did we not respond? And we report to this to you on a monthly basis, but to kind of give you the full year summary, is almost 39% is lack of building available inventory. So they want to move now. They want an existing building. A lot of times they'll say, sometimes they'll say we want an existing building, greenfield, possible, but a lot of times we don't get a lot. We'll always submit on that as long as we have the acreage that is acceptable to that RFP. And so going from lack of building inventory is land requirement. So that is typically a large set of contiguous acres that has the appropriate infrastructure and availability and zoned appropriately to answer these RFPs, right? So we don't have a ton of heavy industrial land left. Zoned heavy industrial, we have some light industrial, but contiguous acres that won't require rezoning. It limits us in a 100-acre request or something more. So that's where you see that we aren't able to respond to that. Or lack of infrastructure. That doesn't mean that lack of infrastructure the city provides. That means lack of infrastructure from a perspective of it's asking for high power that PSO tells us we can't really provide that without very extensive cost, or it has a high-powered gas line requirement, or there's rail access. So something that we call our partners, find out if it's possible. We're only able to do it with the available land we're working with, right? The ones that we know is on the market. And so that really was what, for us, we don't have Mid-America, right? We're not Mid-America. So a lot of those larger requests are ones that we can't respond to. In the some of the questions that we received back from the council in regards to our report was, how many times have we promoted the Innovation District plan? All of these RFPs primarily are in the manufacturing sector. And so before November, December, that was not our key target for that land, as it had been discussed, and then that changed November, December. We've immediately changed our tactic in that, and so we have promoted that land under that vision that you've given us, and as we're moving forward with. So it will be interesting to see what we can do now that we're moving forward with it in that perspective in regards to RFPs. Our career programming, we've talked about a lot about this over the past couple years, but to summarize the work that we've done in this, hosted two career fairs, 40 employers, 225 job seekers. Excited, I've talked about this before, executed our first summer STEM camp. So we had students engage from PSO to D.H. Elliott to our healthcare providers, and they did like a day camp and were hands-on with these types of employers. So that was really exciting to do that. We facilitated our healthcare and manufacturing career days, and we continue to do that with over 6,000 students, which My favorite part about those is that it's not our team actually in the classroom. It's our businesses are in the class. That's the volunteers that do that. And so we just facilitate it. So it's exciting to give 6,000 students connections to our employers. And we did a Baker Hughes job fair. 98% of those displaced found employment or retired. So Baker Hughes, the ones that did not either take an acceptance of a package or weren't absorbed within the Baker Hughes family, whether through Claremore or some other opportunities, that was the 137 employees that we held a job for, and they all had job offers before they left. And 445 job seekers engaged and 88 direct job seeker referrals. And there's some of the work we do, and you've all seen our job seeker assistance, strategic career awareness, workforce pipeline building, employer workforce assistance, and our career fairs. Our talent attraction work that we have done is obviously we work hard on the pipeline for tomorrow, but I've talked with you about what we need today. We've executed our contract with Golden Shovel. BNBA has been launched, and we're partnered with Venture Film Studios, and we created our talent attraction video. In our Impact Partnership Grant, here's the summary, but we're working well. This is what we did in this past year in 2023, and really laid the full foundation for the program to be executed. Do know that NSU has already submitted an invoice to us for a significant amount of work that they've done on actually building their engineering lab. And so that's well under its way. There's additional funds that we need to fundraise to assist them to help finish that engineering lab, but we're excited that that work is being done. Kind of what's the next steps now that the team, the whole group has laid that foundation is we're partnering with Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance, and they're working on the digital backpack, and I think we provided you more detail in the packet for that. Coordinating with Broken Arrow employers to facilitate industry tours and job shadowing opportunities, and we're working on employer internships with high school students. We're establishing employer and student real-world problem-solving activities, and launching the marketing strategy to promote mechanical engineering, specifically leading you to a pipeline with TCC and NSU BA. What's to come? This is just our focus in 2024. Finish our entrepreneurship assessment, targeting and visiting and hosting speculative industrial manufacturing developers. So we've talked about that. Buildings and having buildings is a real issue. We don't have them. There's a lot of expanding businesses as well as attraction. They think they want they don't want to wait for a new building, but we found by the time that they think that they're going to find an existing building, they could have built a new building. Mm-hmm. So if we can begin to look for ways to start that process in order to, and that's both with a site readiness grant, which we did do that with Innovation District Land. And I know the city team and the EDC team went to a commerce presentation about we can get up to 2 additional properties that we can really focus on a site readiness grant, and that will continue to provide us with more available land. And then if really looking at starting that building, because as we've seen with Creek 51, it goes slower if there isn't an actual building being built. We have really good data on based on received RFPs and our highest demand in the region of what we're getting requests for, and we also have the data of what we know our existing manufacturers need as they're growing. So I think we have some good target data that we could confidently work with developers to see what could be some potential in at least starting buildings, and so that we can quickly, because once you get it started, then someone's probably there pretty quick to sign that deal. So we hope that. And talent attraction, marketing, continuing that, and manufacturing month and economic development week. So high-level summary of what's in your packet, but I will take any questions. And we continue to value our partnership and are so thankful, the EDC, in having a contract with the city in order to execute on behalf of the city.
All right. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I will say that as we travel around the state, certainly Broken Arrow is well known and noted for their economic development, outreach. I know our team certainly has been involved with that, and the chamber. I think for all the questions that I saw and the answers that I saw, I feel like it do a great job, and I think it's just one of those things that the proof is in the demonstration of what's going on. So just from my perspective, just keep on keeping on and doing a good job. And appreciate the presentations. Of course, we know there's a lot of money involved with that, so appreciate your input back to us. Let us know.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think the three-legged stool is important, that we were able to come together with the city and the EDC and our schools and work together to make it a better place for all involved here in our communities. So, thank you.
That's been important for many years, so absolutely. Thank you. All right, thank you, Jennifer. All right. Do I?
We have a motion to accept the 2023 Broken Arrow Economic Development Corporation Annual Report.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. All right. So, I have to see where I'm at. Okay. So, any remarks by governing body members?
No, ma'am.
You didn't want to add anything, Councilor Green? No? Okay. City Manager?
Madam Chair, just that met with the team last week about the partnership for the amphitheater, and it looks as though there's potential for construction to start in June. So in terms of the park not being available, it'll be available through May. We may be able to get started sometime in June or July with actually awarding contracts and getting with construction. So things are moving forward. That was very helpful with the ordinance that was passed early in the evening for events. And Planning Commission has approved the application. The presentation, Lori provided that to you, that was received at the Planning Commission, so I want to make sure that you had that, and things continue to move forward accordingly. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's all I have.
All right. We have no executive session.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Roll call. Entertain a motion to take a brief recess to go into executive session.
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Green,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Gillespie, Wimpy.